All right. So, why do you think we are so comfortable with being last place? You asked, well, what is last place, right? So, if you know, so when I went to the African, well, not the African American Museum, went to, like I was explaining last week, went to the Holocaust Museum, and Hitler called himself putting people in order by race, right? And of course, besides the Jews being in very last place because he placed them there, we were right above Jews, right? And so when we look across many hierarchies as far as race are concerned, they like to put us at the bottom. Even though we shine ever so bright. I don't understand. Maybe they're trying to dim my light. I don't know what they're trying to do. But why do you think we feed into that though? Why are we so comfortable with that? Anybody?
I don't think that we're actually comfortable with it. I think that through our life experiences, we're more inclined to take care of ourselves than the group. And because of that, it's hard for you to get ahead when you're the only person pushing it forward. So if you got 10 people that's working together and you're competing against 10 people and it's just maybe you and maybe one other person, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage because it's a numbers game at that point.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good answer. Anybody else wanted to tackle that question? We're gonna get more into it, but anybody else wanted? I'm gonna stop being so silly. Anybody else wanted to get into that?
Yeah.
Is that
Oh, go ahead, AP.
no? I just had a mine was more like a question. Is that like a Western kind of ideal? Because when I look at it, I think of the largest continent on this planet is full of us. Us
You know,
run by us. Are we really at the bottom, or have we been brainwashed and manipulated into believing this is who we are here in Western civilization? It was just that was the first thought that I had.
well, it's so I get what you're saying, and there is a beautiful continent of but even within that, now there are some strong countries there. Like you can't tell Nigerian nothing, okay? So they don't even feel like they've met this list. So, but I think we can all agree that colorism is everywhere. It is not just in the West, it's pretty much everywhere. The lighter you are, people treat you a little bit different. And I could be wrong, but that's what I see that's a common complaint in a lot of countries outside of the United States. But go ahead, anybody else know that?
Yeah, I wanted to jump in. So kind of to what you were saying in response to AP, like Africa isn't actually run by Africans. The Western influence will always take out leaders that are Pan-Africanist or pro-Black. So they don't actually, the people themselves don't have their own people's best interests at heart by design. But to answer Shane's original question, I think that as a collective across the globe, I think we are very connected to like a higher stream of consciousness. So we understand what it means to be connected to other people, which unfortunately, if you're not in full control of that superpower, makes you more susceptible to suggestion. And so through the atrocities across all of the continents, it's been reinforced, right, that we should sit at the bottom. And unfortunately, there's too many people that have internalized that as a means of self-preservation and not as in they actually genuinely believe it. It's a survival mechanism that if I believe it, then at least I understand how to navigate the system that exists.
Quick question to you, Anas, just to a point that you made. Is it due to our higher level of consciousness that we are able to amass the influence worldwide that we do carry? Do you think those go hand in hand?
I think when you're that connected to the earth into people in that higher stream of consciousness, there's like an aura that's like you can't fabricate that aura, and that aura creates magnetism, right? I think that's really what it is. And to some degree, even though it isn't the same, you see that with Aboriginal communities across the globe as well. Like their connectedness to the earth gives them a superpower. And because that superpower threatens the fabric of what exists, then there's no other choice but to utilize that superpower for evil instead of good.
And one other thing I want to touch on, and I'm only going to address Rim once tonight. If you don't believe that we have worldwide influence, your eyes aren't open, sir or ma'am.
We
I
do.
don't. Yeah, no, I just read the comment. Blacks don't have worldwide influence. Stop it. Like you're way off. We influence everything from music to what people wear. Our influence is huge. So, and I'm only going to address you once tonight. I don't feel like dealing
Well,
with
he may
your
think
Well,
that.
I was going to say he's making a point. If you think, I agree that we influence, right? But influence without power is just that. So I think part of the problem, like you said, oh, we influence like music, we influence, fashion, we influence beauty, we influence a lot. But my thing is in thinking about how does that influence empower us as a people? How does that influence have us, I guess, starting with the original question, not be at the bottom, right? So I think thinking about it from that perspective, well, I mean, when he said that, that's the perspective that I was coming from when I heard that comment, because I do think the type of influence that we have, if we come together as a collective, like, what Inaz was saying, I definitely think that the way in which the world capitalizes off of our influence is what leaves us at the bottom. But when we change that mindset, I think the opposite will happen.
And that's kind of the point that I was going to circle back to. So, well said, ma'am.
So this is my thing, and we're not trying to take over the world or anything of that nature. Nobody's suggesting that. What I'm suggesting is, why do we have to be at the bottom of everything, like besides sports? Why do we have this mentality that we're comfortable with just laissez-faire, just comfortable with bare minimum? And that's, go ahead, because I saw you take your mute.
We're even at the bottom of sports. We are the gladiators in the arena. That's what we are. We don't own the arena. We're at the bottom of that. We're their entertainment. Like that.